So I'm gonna make another video. Okay, so it's gonna be about, I don't know who's lying. I don't know who's making up stories. I'm not trying to point the finger at anybody as saying who's lying and who's not. But I remember Cisco, because I went to DeWitt Perry with him, and I remember feeling sorry for him because he looked like he had scoliosis for some reason. I gravitated toward him because I remember he looked like he was in pain, or he kind of looked disfigured, and he was a nice person. And I remember because we had to wear outfits to start jogging out there in the track. And I remember he kept on stopping because he said he kept on doing this, like, oh, my back, and he kept on holding his back, like his hands, like his palms, sort of on his back. And he was kind of like this, like moving his back, and you could tell by looking at him. You could tell by looking at him that his spinal cord looked like it was like it wasn't straight. Like his spine, like you could tell he had some sort of like a curve in his back or something, his spine. And I remember him complaining, saying that he was in pain, but he kept on trying to muscle it throughout. And he jogged for a little bit, and he's like, all right, I'm feeling a little bit better now. But I remember him keep doing that, and I looked at him because everyone was jogging fine and he wasn't. And it only happened a couple of times. And then I remember he played football, and he kept on doing this, like, kind of like, because his back was hurting. And he goes, yeah, my back hurts. And he only said it a couple of times, and at this time we weren't terribly good friends, but we were kind of hanging out here and there, and with the crew, with Richard Murphy and John Vasily and Jeremy. But I thought I'd make a video on this because I watched his video. If you look on his Facebook, he said he went to the military. You can't go to the military if you're not healthy. Like, the military only accepts people that are fully physically and fit. Like, if you meet all the standards, you can't have any. I don't even know well, back then it was maybe different, but even during my entire life in the 42 years I've been alive, they have never allowed even people to get into the military that had even had tattoos, to my understanding. But I want to say that I'm positive 100% on the fact that if you have a disease, or you've had cancer, or you have especially any spinal cord injuries, they will not accept you in the military. The military only accepts people that are healthy. Like, you have to be healthy and fit to be accepted in the military, otherwise they don't want you. You'll get rejected from the military, because the military gives a lot of benefits, health benefits, and a lot of people that you won't ever get from job sites and whatnot. But he said he was in the military, and then he said, and in his Facebook it says he's in the military. He was never in the military. He couldn't have been, because you could look at his spinal cord. I'm not kidding. Like, you could look at his lower back and his spinal cord, and it looked like he had massive spinal cord injury. It looked like he had scoliosis, and I remember very distinctly walking next to him as we're jogging. I said, "You all right, man? You okay?" And he kept on looking like he's just trying to muscle that out, but he was in pain. Like, you could tell he was in pain, and he was sort of jogging slower than everybody else. But the thing is he played football, and I remember he kept on doing this, like, and you could tell by the way he moved, like his spinal cord. Even when you saw him stand and he talked to people, you could tell that he had a curve in his spinal cord, or his spinal cord was crooked, or something was wrong with his spine. And I remember that for sure. But the thing is so weird about it. When we went into high school, he played football with Richard and John for like a whole year, I want to say. And I remember when they worked out, it was brutal. It was brutal. Working out as a football was 10 times worse than it was in soccer. Like, it was brutal. And I remember Richard actually quitting after a while because he was being worked to death. And John Vasily was like, and Little John and Anthony said the same thing. It was too brutal. Anyway, I thought I'd make a video on that. He said things don't make sense. I was like, he couldn't have been in the military. I know that he couldn't have because he had. I was in athletics with him, but why would they have allowed him to be in athletics? Why would they allow him to be in athletics if he had a spinal cord injury? Because to even play in football, you have to have a physical fitness. Like they make you take a physical, and that's what's so weird about it. That's what's so weird about the circumstance. Maybe he barely passed the physical enough to pass it, and it was maybe some other spinal cord injury that he had that was maybe underneath hidden. That was some sort of injury that could have caused the pain, but it was enough to not cause pain when he went to get the physical done. But you could tell he has some sort of spinal cord to something to his hips, that in the spinal cord lower back area. But I'll make a video on that. I'm thinking, I was like,